Brilliance Audio presents Wings of Fury by Emily R. King, performed by Lauren Ezzo. I carried the full water pails away from the pond and through the dappled woodland. 2 hours before daybreak, I had scoured the kitchen and commons floor with scalding water. Now, as the sun crested to my east, my back ached from scrubbing away the soot marks around the hearth on my hands and knees. The nearby stream roared as snow-water torrents hurtled down the mountainside. In spring, the forest itself rested in a wintry haze, the hamadryads in each tree dozing until dawn dismounted her rosy throne and surrendered to daylight. In the almost 7 years that we had lived in these hills, I had come to know the many craggy paths through leafy recesses. I navigated every dip in the ground and ducked from every bough, considerate of the yawning hamadryads. The water sloshed over the edges of the pails and onto my muddy feet. I should have slowed down so as not to waste more, but the handles cut into my palms, and my empty stomach grumbled. Replenishing the water supply was my last morning chore before I could eat. Travelers headed my direction up the trail, a party of hoplites. Poor citizens, soldiers, farmers, and artisans who elected to take up weapons in defense of their homeland. The road was too narrow for them and me, so I sidestepped into the underbrush and bowed my head. My hair fell forward, hiding my unmasked face. "Divine day," one man said as they passed. I flinched. His voice did not sound familiar. Still wary, I glanced from the corner of my eye. Once in a while, I met men from the nearby village for a brief romp down by the pond, but I didn't recognize these men. A very pretty, unmasked girl, no older than 13, sat with her hands bound in front of their lead rider. An offering for the Almighty, I wagered. She could have been one of their daughters, or a girl sold to them by a poor family. It was hard to say what circumstances led her here, another girl who was worth just 200 silver pieces. Though I was supposed to return home already, I waited until the party disappeared up the winding road before hefting the water pails onward. The temple compound was shrouded in springtime foliage, its outer walls a 2-story dormitory that housed all the Vestals, their oratory, and their workspaces. Within the courtyard of the U-shaped dormitory, in addition to the kitchen, stables, and outbuildings, stood the actual temple, a modest stone structure with columns on a base of stairs and an ornate precipice. The most recent addition to the courtyard, come 5 years ago, was a statue of the god of gods, posed naked with his arms at his sides and chin lifted defiantly. It, and the tattered first house flag hung at the front gates, displayed the minimal devotion required of any household in the territory of Thessaly. My bad ankle throbbed by the time I arrived. After I broke it as a girl, the bone hadn't healed right, often giving me pains when I stood too long or walked too far. A line of Vestals exited the temple after offering morning prayers before the statue of Gaia. They had already laid their daily sacrifice of fruit or bread before the statue of the Almighty. He always came first. I mumbled, "Divine day," and kept on for the open-air kitchen. Acrea kneaded bread dough, with 2 slaves assisting her. My sisters worked alongside them, Bronte grinding grain and Cleora stroking the fire. They, too, had woken early. Cleora ran the kitchen and hearth while Bronte swept the quiet halls and tended to the garden. A bundle of freshly picked greens was piled by the wash basin, waiting for Bronte to clean and chop. Our meager breakfast of stale bread, which they nibbled on as they worked, and wine was on the plate and in the chalice we shared. Fewer dishes to wash, Cleora would say. She always found ways to lessen our workload. I set the pails by the fire, then poured them, one at a time, into the big pots for boiling. Finally, with a moment to be still, I stretched my back. Cleora stared at the dancing flames. "You're late,"